Mike Swanson, and you're listening to the Wall Street Window Podcast. In a few moments, I'm going to be speaking with a very special guest tonight. I'm going to be speaking with Jordon, Roy-Byrne, who runs the website, thedailygold.com. We're going to talk about what is happening in the gold and silver markets, what's going on with big cap and small cap mining stocks. And Jordan's going to tell us what is it going to take to get gold above $1,700 an ounce. This time a year ago, it was below $1,350. Now it's closed this week above $1,600. But what's the next target? $1,700. What's it going to take to go through it? Jordan is going to tell us. But first, I want to tell you, this has been an interesting and exciting week. Carmine Savastano's book, Human Time Bomb, has been released. You know Carmine because I've spoken with him many times on this podcast about all sorts of topics. But the publication of this book strikes a huge blow against the social madness of our times, whether it comes from social media, Twitter trolls, or Facebook maniacs, or the blowhard talking TV heads. This book strikes a blow against them, and it's about time for that to happen. And the reason why it does that is because it examines and shows how human nature, when combined with our internet-driven culture, is fueling chaos in our society. And these trolls and psychopathic behavior you see out there are symptoms of this. Isolated individuals caught up in internet echo chambers of their own making are driving themselves frantic. Is this all a giant social control mechanism? Or is this type of behavior something that's always been a part of human history? Carmine's book answers those questions, but also answers the question, more importantly, what can we do about it? Well, obviously, to do anything about it, we got to understand the problem, guard ourselves against the effects of it, and only then can we work together. This book strikes the first blow. It's only 200 pages in length, makes it a quick and easy read, an informative read, and also if you get the paperback, you can read it and then give it to someone else, spread the ideas in it, do something to counteract a lot of this stuff going on out there. Again, the book's title, Human Time Bomb. Go to Amazon.com, type in Human Time Bomb, order the Kindle, order the paperback, and I think you'll get a lot out of it, just as I did. So one quick break, and then we'll be talking with Jordon, Roy-Byrne.
Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, I'm interested in the truth about the JFK assassination.
Right. Well, what do you want to know?
Judy Baker's wild claim, Oswald girlfriend, she knew Ruby and Barry, cancer weapons. Really?
I imagine I could claim I have 4 wheels. It doesn't make me a wagon, but okay.
Oswald was on the kill team and trying to prevent the murder of John Kennedy. Come on now. Has a real expert on the JFK assassination looked into her claims?
Go to Amazon.com, enter Judith Baker in her own words. You'll get results for a digital copy of a book where Walt Brown utilizes her own words and the known evidence in the case to get at, well, a different perspective, let's say. You can get Judith Barry Baker in her own words from the author himself, signed if you request it by contacting Dr. Brown at KIASJFK@AOL.com. It's a fun book and it actually dissects the many, many fantastic claims. Judith Barry Baker in her own words.
Thank you for all the great information.
Hi, how you doing today, Jordan?
Hey, I'm well. Thanks, Mike. How are you?
Good. It's been a couple weeks since we last spoke, and it's been an interesting year for gold and silver. I mean, on New Year's, a few days afterwards, we had that situation in Iran, a confrontation between the Trump administration and the Iranian government, which drove gold over $1,600 an ounce on a Tuesday night, during which the Iranians attacked an army base in Iraq. It was terrible what happened, but gold spiked and then came down below 1550. And many people out there were calling for a gold collapse because in the past, when such events would happen, you'd have a gap up on international geopolitical news, it would often mark a significant top. So people thought, uh-oh, here we go again. But no, gold stabilized, went sideways, and this week has burst above 1,600. And what's funny is in January, a lot of the small traders in the futures market, according to the Commitment of Traders report, were doing more net shorting of gold than net buying in the month of January. So they got caught up in that narrative, and now they got caught on the wrong side of things, as they usually do. But that doesn't mean they might be wrong now, because maybe they got out of their shorts and maybe things are too overextended. Maybe we're on the cusp of a endless economic boom. Who knows? So what do you think is going on with gold and silver at this point?
Well, I think that what's really driving the market is you have a couple things. You have suddenly a very strong U.S. dollar that today closed at a plus 2-year high. So gold, it's really rising against all currencies. It's especially strong against almost any and every foreign currency. Gold against the foreign currency basket that I track, that's at basically at all-time highs. Now, if you look at, back to fundamentals for a second. So you have a really strong dollar, and because of the coronavirus and what's going on around the world, that's attracting capital back into the U.S. and also into the U.S. bond market. So that's that and the strong dollar. They're combining to push bond yields and interest rates lower, and the Fed follows the market. And so the odds I saw yesterday, the odds of the Fed cutting in June were 50-50 basically. So the precious metals market looks like it's starting to anticipate the next rate cut. And, gold has been the strongest, and the rest of the sector has been lagging, which isn't a good thing. However, the last couple of days that started to pick up, and the real key, Mike, is GDX and silver. If we look at GDX, it today closed just below 30. It has basically 7-year resistance at 30 and 31. And if and when we see GDX clear 31 to the upside, that's when we could start an explosive breakout move. But we're not quite there yet. Excuse me. Now, with respect to silver, it closed at 1832 today. On a short-term and very long-term timetable, 1850 is a really important level. So I'm going to be watching 1850 on a weekly, monthly, and even a quarterly closing basis. But we're almost at the end of February. So how silver closes this month with respect to 1850, that's going to be very significant. I mean, a monthly close above 1850, that will put it in position to probably get up to $20 to $21 right around the 2016 peak. So that's really where we're at. Gold is doing well. It has two things are pointing to a measured upside target of 1,700, but silver and GDX have not quite broken out yet. They're not quite there yet, and so that's really what we need to be watching right now.
Yeah, it's a fascinating moment, and I agree with your analysis. I just don't know the exact timing of when gold's going to hit that 1,700. I don't know if it's going to happen within 3 weeks or 3 months or what. And then I look at the mining stocks and I see individual mining stocks, some of them doing incredible. Newmont Mining, for example, which I own, is up 4% today on a new 52-week high. When I see that happen to Newmont Mining, it's very difficult for me to become bearish on this sector or on gold in particular. But then another stock I own, which is an Eagle, it dumped almost 20% on earnings. So, there's some bad, some drops that happen in the sector too. But they all seem to be trading then on individual fundamentals, seem to now matter in a way they didn't before. So I don't know if you're noticing that too.
Well, I have noticed that. It's also true in the junior patch, which I focus a lot more on. And I just think that, I'm getting some questions. I'm sure you have. When are we going to see the juniors all of the juniors go up. When are we going to see more momentum or speculation increase? I think GDX going above 31, that could be a trigger for that. Also GDXJ, and over the long term, it's lagged, but it's leading as far as the very short term. That's broken out, I believe, to a multi-year high, just below 44 today. But its 7-year resistance is around $50. So that's also something to watch. When we see GDX first and then GDXJ surpass the 2016 resistance, I think that is the point in time when you'll start to see everything in the sector go up.
Yeah, I know I did it. We talked a few weeks ago for a show you're doing. The people can find it on YouTube, 10 bagger stocks. And one of the things we were discussing was, I feel like now is very similar to what I experienced in the 2002 to 2003 time period when it comes to this sector. So that was the start of a new bull market, and stocks like Newmont back then were going completely crazy, but a lot of the juniors were not. They didn't really take off until gold, went up almost, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it took some time. Gold had to go, gold going to 300 was enough for Newmont to go nuts, but gold had to go to 400 or 500 before the juniors took off. And it's sort of the same deal now. Last year, gold smashed through 1350. Now we're at 1600, but only a few select juniors have really participated and taken off. As a whole, that space is not. But at some point, I think maybe it's gold at 1700, whatever the magic price is going to be. It's then I think we're going to start to see all these junior mining stocks reach $25 million market caps, where most of them still to this day have market caps less than 10 million, most of them even less than 5. So we're still in a great investment opportunity across the space. But would people say, why aren't they going up? Why aren't they going up? Well, I would flip that around and say, well, that means this is still your chance. And when they do go up and reach that 25 million market cap and the masses want to get in, that's when it's going to actually be tough to buy things and make money anymore. It really is, but so this is the time to get involved, not later, but later is when everyone's going to want to do it, because that's how it just works. That's how it is. And it's never going to change.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. You got to take advantage of weakness, buy weakness, try and find the best companies that you can. And, I try and cut my losers and trim my winners along the way. That's another important thing. You got to be patient and let things run. But, when you get doubles and triples, you should be taking some money off the table and putting those into, lower risk or better upside things. Right? You never want to let a full position keep riding. After a double or more than that, seriously consider trimming the position, sell a third, sell a half, put that capital somewhere else, because, you and me, Mike, and nobody else out there has a crystal ball. Despite what many people will tell you, we can't predict the future. We don't have a crystal ball. All we can do is just try and be as prudent and diligent as we can as far as researching, picking the best companies, and then executing a strategy, buying, cutting the losers if they don't work out, and riding the winners, but trimming them as they rise.
That's great advice, and I recommend people listening to check out your website, check out your service. It's all at thedailygold.com, and thanks for taking the time to talk with me today.
Oh, my pleasure, Mike. Thank you.